Hello students, in this session we'll discuss about arrays in C language. Array is a collection of homogeneous data elements, nothing but array is a collection of similar data elements, homogeneous, similar data elements. That is, they share the same name, they have different elements in it, all the elements belong to the same data type, hold the same name. Okay, so for example, you may be having number of students in a class. All those students belong to one class. Maybe their roll numbers are different or marks may be different, but they belong to the same class, they belong to the same group. Okay, so in the same way, for example, I wanted to store 10 numbers. How do I write generally? If I wanted to write a normal program, I need to create 10 different variables and I can store them. But instead of doing that, I can create only one name. In that one name only, I can store many variables there. Like for example, suppose I have 10 students marks to be stored. I want 10 students marks to be stored. How do I do that? Marks. How many students do I have? 10 students. Now, what type of data is this mark? Mostly it will be integer type of data only. So this is how I declare. That is nothing but the concept of array. That is, array is a collection of homogeneous data elements or similar data elements. Similar, yes, all the 10 elements are belonging to integer type of data only. They are all related. They are all marks, right? So in that way, we can say what is an array. So simply speaking, array is a collection of similar data elements or homogeneous data elements. Now, coming to what are the different types of array. Before that, let me tell you what is the syntax for writing a normal array, a one-dimensional array, for example. So we generally use data type followed by name of the array, followed by the size of it in square brackets. Okay, now this is said to be the what we say subscript. That is, whatever subscript is there, depending on that one we say whether what type of array it is. That we will see further now. Then we go for using discussing about what are the different types of arrays we have. Now, most commonly we talk about two arrays, that is one-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. Now under this multi-dimensional array, we may talk about two-dimensional array or three-dimensional array or four-dimensional array also, depending on the requirement, but most commonly used one is the two-dimensional array. So in general, when we are talking about arrays, we talk about one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays. Now the question is, what do you mean by one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array? As I told you just now, depending on the subscript we are using, if only one subscript is there, it is said to be a one-dimensional array. If we have two subscripts, it is said to be two-dimensional array. We'll talk about that taking an example here. Let us discuss, first of all, what is a one-dimensional array. Now, in a one-dimensional array, you have only one dimension. For example, I have int x5. What is it here? I have only one subscript here. So this is a single dimensional array. It has only one dimension. It don't have rows and columns. If I have row and column, I call it as a two-dimensional array. Two dimensions, rows, columns. So that is not applicable here. So only one dimension is there. That is the reason why we call it as a one-dimensional array. Now, how do we initialize a one-dimensional array, or how do we create a one-dimensional array? This is how we create. The syntax goes something like this: data type followed by array name. Here, x is the name of the array, int is the data type I'm using. I may even use float depending on the requirement. Then comes the size of the array. Then comes the size of the array. Now, how do we initialize a one-dimensional array? Simply, if you wanted to initialize some variable, how do you initialize? Suppose int x is equal to 10. Simple, isn't it? But here, it's not one single element, but here you have 5 elements. You need to initialize all those elements here. How do we do that? It is something like this. 10, 2, 15, 30, 12. Done. So this is how I initialize a one-dimensional array. Now, how does it go and store in the computer's memory? Okay. So I have initialized it, fine, that is okay, but how does it go and store inside the computer's memory? If I talk about a single variable, it goes and store it random somewhere. Wherever location is empty, wherever the place is suitable for it, it will go and adjust there. But whereas we are talking about array, array is something different. What is the difference is? Array stores all the elements in continuous memory locations. I repeat, array stores all the elements of it, that is, it have 5 elements in all. All these elements have to be stored in continuous memory locations. What do you mean by that? Suppose this is the memory location you have, which has some 5 elements. What is it? 10, 2, 15, 13 and 12. The name of this one is x here. All the elements are named, are addressed using x only. Their identity is x only, its name is x only, followed by. How do I identify individual elements? Individual elements are identified by using the index of it. The first element starts at 0th index, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. Here if you observe, the maximum size I have taken is 5, but the last element ends at 5 minus 1. So if it is n here, it ends at n minus 1 because the index is starting at a 0th position. Now, so we are done with how do you create an array, how do you initialize an array. Then comes how do you access the members of the array. How do you access? These are the members of the array. How do you access these elements? Simply, you can access them at random. You need not go continuously from 0th element to n minus 1th element. You can randomly access them. How do you access it? By simply using the name of the array followed by the syntax index. Here, for example, I wanted to access 15. I wanted to access 15 here. Now, 15, what is the name of this block? This block's name is x. This array name is x. So, take x followed by, if I call x, everything is same, everything is x only because everyone is addressed with the same name. Where is the difference here? The index makes the difference here. Individual elements can be identified or accessed using their index. Here, 15's index is 2, so I use 2 here. Then I get 15. If I wanted to access 12 here, what is it? X is the name of the array followed by what is the index of 12? It's 4. So take 4 here and you can use this 12. That is how I access the elements of the array. Okay. Now here one thing has to be remembered, that arrays are like they store the elements in continuous memory locations. That is one thing, and equal distance apart. If you see here, this array is of what type? It is of integer type. The array is of integer type. Fine, that is one thing. Now, when I said it is integer type of array, integer element, each integer element holds 2 bytes of memory. So, here we have totally 5 elements of integer type. So, 5 elements of integer type. Each integer element holds 2 bytes of memory. So, this complete array holds 10 bytes of memory. So, this complete array holds 10 bytes of memory. Now, coming to what is the memory management there? As I told you that they store in continuous memory locations at equal distance apart. Means the first block will take 2 bytes. Suppose the first block's place is 100. Its address is 100. Then the next element can be found at 102th location, 104th location next, then 108, 1/10 location. So if we talk about memory management or memory locations, for example, the first element is stored at the 100th location, that is 10 is stored at 100th location. Then I said that they are integer type of data, so they hold 2 bytes of memory. I can find the next element at same equal distance apart, so maybe at this next location, I mean equal distances apart. Right? So this is all about single dimensional array. Program will see in another session of a single dimensional array as well as multi-dimensional array. Now we'll see about what is a two-dimensional array. Now, as I told you that by seeing the subscript of it, I can say whether it is a one-dimensional array or a two-dimensional. That is, I can decide what is the type of the array by seeing the subscript of it. Now we'll talk about two-dimensional array. Here in two-dimensional array, we have the row and column. I have rows and columns. What do you mean by that here? So, suppose I have an array. Suppose int A is my array. It will be something like this, 2, 3. Now, what do you mean by this one? Nothing but here I have 2 rows and 3 columns. I have 2 rows and 3 columns. Now, the syntax of it goes something like this. Again, data type, array name, followed by row size and column size. This is how I declare or I create a array, two-dimensional array, where the first subscript is the number of rows you have, the second subscript is the number of columns you have. Now, if I try to initialize this one, how does it go? Now, suppose I wanted to initialize it. Now, let me tell you before that, the best example where I can implement these two-dimensional arrays are matrices. The mathematical matrices what we use, they are the best example of using these two-dimensional arrays. Now, to initialize this one, here, totally how many elements do we have? When I say 2 rows and 3 columns, 2 cross 3 matrix will be formed where I have total of 6 elements. So here, that is the first row, that is I have 2 number of rows with each row having 3 columns. The representation will be something like this. So some 10, 12, 8, 15, 13, 20. That is how we initialize the two-dimensional array. Now, we'll see the memory representation of the same here. So, we are talking about the same thing here. So, let us take it as 10, 12, 8. Now, if you see here, I have 2 rows and 3 columns here. This is the row count. Row 0, row 1. In the one row, I have 15, 3 and 20. Then comes the column count. Again, it starts from 0 onward. 0, 1, 2. Here I have totally 2 rows. 1, 2, 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. But the column or row, anything in array starts from the positioning or index starts from 0 onward. So, it ends at n-1th position. Now, if we see here, how do we access? This is how we initialize a two-dimensional array. Now, how do we access the elements of a two-dimensional array? Now, suppose I wanted to access 10 here. I wanted to access 10 here. What is the name of this complete array? It is A. The name of this complete array is A here. Now, how do I access 10? By using the row and column position. The combination of that one will be the element here. Now, the name of the array is A, followed by where exactly is 10? 10 is at a combination of 0th row and 0th column here. So, in square brackets, I take 0, 0. There I can see this 10. In the same way, if I wanted to access this 12, I wanted to access 12. Now, how do I access? It is at the, this one is row and this is column. Right. So, 12 is at 0th row, first column. 0th row, first column. That combination is, that location is where 12 is. So, A of 0th row and first column. In the same way, if I wanted to access 8, 8 is at 0th row, second column. So 8, 0th row, second column is where 8 is available. Then comes 15. How do I access 15 here? Again, row and column. First of all, row. Where is it? First row, 0th column. So I'll write it here. A, first row and 0th column. First row, 0th column is where 15 is there. Right? In the same way, if I wanted to access 13 here, 13 is at first row, first column. First row, first column is where 13 is there. So A, first row, first column. These subscripts have to be written inside the square braces only. Then comes 20. How do I access 20 here? By using the row and column again. First row, second column. So A, first row, second column is how I access this 20. So this is how the memory representation of a two-dimensional array will be, and also how do we access the elements of a two-dimensional array by using the subscript, that is by using the positions of the row and the position of the column here.